So no sticks, no rocks, no pebbles, no wallabies in your backpack, alright? Everything has to stay behind. We don't want to leave any rubbish behind, so if you've got any papers or tissues or anything, just in the bin here. No smoking on the tour, please. And when we get down in the lava tubes, please don't touch the walls, okay? Because very delicate features on the walls. And if they're broken off, they're gone forever. And hopefully we won't find too much molten lava today, okay? If you need to use the toilets before we go, please do so, because there's no toilets out in the park. And if you have any questions at any time, please ask, just yell out, alright? It's a great idea to have a camera and a torch, but if you don't have a torch, I have one, that's okay. It's also a good idea to have a hat, okay? It keeps the sun off you, and also when we get down in the caves there's bats, so it might keep their poo out of your hair too, which is good. I'm not a geologist, okay? I was born here. This was our land that we used to have a cattle station. And so everything that I share with you today is the way I learned it. If you don't agree or you wish to discuss, please contribute to the conversation, okay? Other than that, I think that's everything. We're going to go on bus number 4, which is the bus straight at the end of the pathway, okay? And it's because of this seed that we wear these things on our boots here. These, okay? This here is, this is called black spear grass, okay? Black spear grass is a native grass, and what we have here is the seed is all matted together. And when you look at it, it's got little barbs on the outside that all point out. And they look a bit like a fish spear because they've got a hook on them. And what happens is as you walk past, particularly if you've got thick socks, it'll jump 100 meters for a good pair of woolen socks, this will. And it'll dig into your sock and stick in your sock like that. And when it's hot like this, your leg sweats, and when this gets wet, you watch what it does.
Oh.
Can you see it moving? My hand's a bit shaky, but what it does is it screws its way around like this.
Want a bit more water? I've got some here. Say we're using yours.
变黑色。
Here, look here, put it on there. Tip a bit on there. And they all start to move. And what this is, it screws around like this, okay? And why it screws around is that it's all moving. You can see it starting to move here. And what this is doing is it screws the seed down into the ground, and this replants the seed. And when it rains, the seed germinates and the grass grows. So this is so it continues to survive in the dry, arid environment. Black spear grass, and that's why we wear these when we go walking in the bush, so you don't get this stuff in your socks. Good idea, eh?
Yeah.
That we're in here hasn't always been like this. It's the way we see it today is a result of millions of years of change and evolution. The environment is never constant. The environment is always changing, always adapting. Ago, when the volcanoes first erupted in this region, the whole region was covered by this vegetation. 8 million years for this vegetation to establish and adapt. It's because of fire. because of bushfire. This vegetation that can't live with fire survives next to one that can is because of a little wallaby that lives down in here.
I don't quite understand.
Wallaby.
Little.
Okay, so there's a little wallaby that lives in here. He lives in here because the vegetation is very dense and the thick, healthy canopy protects him underneath. He lives underneath, because if he were to come out here, our wedge-tail eagle, which is our largest bird of prey, could fly down and grab him and fly away with him. He needs this to be healthy. Feeds out about 2 meters because he fears if he gets too far away, he's away from the safety of the scrub. When the bushfires come, the fire needs the grass to burn. Where the wallaby feeds, the grass is short. So when the fire comes in, when the grass gets short, the fire goes out. The scrub survives because the wallaby keeps the fire away, and the wallaby survives because the scrub is healthy. We call a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Where two things totally unrelated do what they do naturally, creates mutual benefit for all species. Using a mosaic pattern, and this is very similar to the pattern used by indigenous people. Okay, so let's say this pathway is a good example. We would burn this side of the pathway this year, we would burn this side of the pathway next year, and they would burn this side the year after. So every 2 years you burn the same patch of country. And if you religiously stick to that, you can actually burn the majority of your country at different times, and you can reduce the damage done by wildfire, and you can use fire to reinvigorate your natural environment for whatever your use is. If you're a cattleman, then you want to reinvigorate it for pasture. If you're a traditional owner and you want to live from the land, you invigorate it to produce what you need to survive. So it depends on what you need from it.
So this fire is burned by nature, by man, or
By man.
Oh, by man. Okay.
Well, before people, before man, it was all done naturally.
Okay.
But today, we manage it.
Okay.
We've gone from one ecosystem to a totally different ecosystem, yeah? And where we're standing now was once upon a time a lava tube. This was all had a roof over the top. Fell in, leaving this depression in the countryside. The vegetation that we see around us here would have most likely been seeded originally by birds. They've flown over here, landed, passed the seed out in a nice little pile of fertilizer. So when it rains, the seed germinates, the tree grows. Many different birds, many different seeds, many different species of tree. Trees grow and mature. They grow together to form this canopy, and what that does is it filters the amount of light that can get inside. Seed from up on top were to blow down here, there's not enough light for it to get established. When it rains, soil washes down in here, and these trees are deciduous, so they lose their leaves, and so all of the leaves and the soil and the sticks on the ground make the understory very composting and microbial. Lots of microbes in the soil, so it's very composting, unlike up on top where it's very dry and harsh. Species of animals and birds and butterflies that live in here that aren't found anywhere else in the region because of this little special ecosystem. It came It came from up here and it flowed in this direction, down this way.
熔岩就从那边的在